The people are just not going to read.
Perfect. So then those what you're able to see and read and consume, that's all what you consider when you're developing the site, right? That includes all your calls to action, all the information that you said, and the imagery has quite a bit to do with it when you're actually building these sites, correct?
Oh, correct. And you want people that when they go to a site, they're not asking that question, well, what do I do now? It should be a natural process of leading them to make a decision. We're selling things here. That's what the website's all about. Go back only 2 years ago, a website was something that shows how special you look. It's gone now. What a website is for, it's a selling machine, and you've got to treat it that way, and that's what we take into account when we're developing a site. Where do you want them to go next? They've just seen this great image. They've clicked a button to get wonderful information. Well, what's the next thing? Well, the next thing is to book or buy. That's how you should be considering the design of the site. These are selling machines. That's what they're there for.
Perfect. All right. Well, that brings me to another question. When it comes to customers, what is it that truly sells them? What is it that truly sells a customer in your experience and in your time working with so many customers, and because of your eye for design? What is it?
The, to me, it's when, and this is their customers,
Mhm.
that when they get to the site, they should be going, wow, immediately.
Mhm.
The second thing, they should be saying, okay, there's the information I require. The third thing is that it's whatever device they're using, that the information is always there. And what we're talking about is if we go look at WordPress, for instance, and I'll be honest and clear, Oscar, I don't like WordPress, I'm sorry about that. But WordPress came out with this beautiful thing called Optimized, and what that was, that all these big websites got shrunk down to small websites, and they believed that that would sell to a customer. Well, it doesn't. And one of the things that's beautiful about Duda One or Trilogy is the dynamic content. So we can take this imagery, this information, and we can transform it into what's necessary on the desktop, what's necessary on the tablet, and what will really work on the mobile. And that's what's truly going to sell a customer. Because when they're on a desktop, they want lots and lots of information, lots and lots of things to look at sometimes. On a tablet, they want something totally different. So the imagery, the information, and the content must be dynamic. And that's what truly sells a customer. And that's the beautiful thing about Duda. We can do it so simply.
Perfect. So this is something that really kind of changed the game when you found out about Insight, right? When you first found out about Insight and how you could utilize it, not only for the marketing aspect, but just from the value add. That's something that really changed the game
That
for
was
you.
a total game changer for us. We were doing what we used to call front doors. And that was we'd have a dedicated mobile site. I don't have to tell you where we got it from, but we had a dedicated mobile site that we'd link up to either a WordPress site we built or a WordPress site they already had. But what that gave us was really not the full thing. It was just give them a picture that looked good on a mobile, but they didn't work well together. What we wanted was something that we could put the whole system from desktop to tablet to mobile and build it all in
Mhm.
one platform, but then have all these other magic, wonderful things that we could play with to make it a marketing selling machine. And that's what we got with Duda One, and that's why we went that way straight away.
Perfect. So a lot of the Duda One features that we have, not only Insight, because that's our Duda Pros, we kind of we really try to reiterate how important Insight is and how innovative it is. But there's also other features that you can offer them, right? There's the fact that you can offer these CTAs, these calls to action directly on their site. These are all things that are possible upsells, right? These are packages of service, and you have your own packages as well, right? I believe you call it the customer attraction program.
Yes. What we decided to do, and this is another reason we were just so happy with Duda. We sat down and worked it out. Well, we had all these beautiful, sexy mobile sites that everybody loved, and that was fantastic. But then when it came to the WordPress site, it didn't necessarily match it when it came to sexy and was attractive and it was awesome. What we decided was that the customer who's out there and he's searching for the butcher, baker, candlestick maker, what he wanted was he wanted something that was mind-blowing on all devices. He also wanted it that he could find the thing on Google. And he also wanted it that every month when he went to that site, or every week, that there was something different on it. The sites didn't gather dust, that there was always some promotion.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we come up with customer attraction programs. But we're not only attracted to the customer, we're attractive to Google, and we're attractive to future customers and past customers with all the promotions that we do. That was something that was really important. That's how we got to Trilogy Customer Attraction Program. So we've got the three things that people want in this day and age. Not just a mobile site that's a bit of an add-on. Oh, okay, well, you look good on a mobile phone now. Well, you might look good, but what does it do? Does it get you customers? Does it close people? Does it convert people? That's what you want to do with that, not just look good. It's got to do lots of other things as well.
Perfect. Great. Well, then I'm sure a lot of our Duda pros here, they're probably interested in hearing what your pitch is like. You mind sharing what your pitch would be?
No, I'm not going to tell them, Oscar. Find out just boys.
Industry secret.
Do some work.
Do some legwork. It is a very personal thing, exactly. And so many Duda pros realize that, or don't realize that you have to take into consideration what your skill set is, what it is that you can actually offer in terms of value, and also put that and build your own model out of it. So could you maybe share what your pitch is like?
Okay. First of all, I think I joked with you the other day. We go and beg. We always beg the customer, please buy it. That's a good pitch. I need the money. I've got children to support. Right? But the important thing is that, again, with us, we wanted to be really different. We had to separate ourselves from the pack. I mean, there is, if you get on the internet now and you type mobile website, dynamic content website, optimized website, there is going to be a million of them out there. And what we wanted to do was to separate ourselves. So we studied a lot, and that's why we came up with Customer Attraction Program. So it's pretty simple, my pitch, because I'm a pretty simple guy. I like to
Sure.
just come across, rather than being super technical. Just sit there and say, okay, there's three things that your customer is looking for. Right. The first thing is that they want a site that when they're using a tablet, a desktop, a laptop, and a mobile, that it's going to be appealing to them and give them the information they need. The second thing is it is a Google world. And as we've only realised now with the Google
the mobile Geddon,
right,
as you call it.
Right, as we're calling it, that's coming up. What was that? Is that my are you still there, Oscar?
I'm still here. Yeah, I can hear you. How are we
sorry,
doing on sound here? Yeah, no, everything seems to be going fine.
I'm just going to shut down Outlook because it keeps bouncing things around there. Okay, so the customer needs three things, and that is that they need something that's attractive and looks great on all devices. They need to be attractive to Google, and as of the 21st of April, they need to be more attractive than ever. And the third thing is they've got to realise that their site cannot gather dust anymore. That customers are searching that thing like they go to your Facebook page and they want to see if you've got an update on your profile. They're doing the same thing with your website now, where they're going there and they're saying, well, what's new, what's exciting, what's attractive? And what we do is we offer that as part of our program, which we call Headlines. So we pitch it that we've got the three things, and that is your site's going to look great. It's going to look great to Google. And every time you get a customer, new or old, comes to your site, they're going to see something new. They're not going to see something old. So that's the three things. And that's important to them. And that's how we pitch it. But the next thing that we do, probably a little bit different, is we do a lot of puppy dog closes, where we will actually call the customer up and say to them, look, have you seen your site on a mobile phone? It looks really, really bad. Have you seen your site on a tablet? I can't read it. People are not in the shrinking and adjusting anymore. Let me make you a demo front page just to show you the difference I can make. Okay? No one ever says no. And
Right.
we sell off that way. So that's two parts of our pitch. That's what the camel does.
Perfect, perfect. And so when you're talking about or when you're actually before you do your pitch, I know you mentioned that you do your homework too. You do your due diligence to actually look at their site currently, and like you said, show them that it is indeed something that needs to be pinched and zoomed and panned and scanned to get any value out of it, right?
That's the important part. I mean, there's 850 million websites in the world, and only 14% of them are optimized for mobile.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, there's a hell of a lot of business out there for you if you want to do some work, right? And what we do is before we get on the phone, we've got people who will sit back there, go to their website and check it. And we have good, bad, or ugly. That's the way we basically define what a site is like. Even if it's good, we've still got a chance to sell them because there's things like headlines and all that we do. But if it's really ugly, how simple is it to walk into someone's building or get them on the phone and say, hey, do you know that 75% of people looking for you are doing it on a mobile device? Let's have a look at your business on a mobile device. How are they going to argue with you if it looks shocking?
Right. Exactly. They can't back out
There's
and say,
no
well, it is mobile. No, a lot of times what happens with people I've spoken to is when I ask them, hey, is your site mobile? And they'll say, yeah, sure it is. Look, they'll pull it up and it's literally their site on a mobile device. And they're thinking that their site is now mobile. No, just because you loaded it on mobile does not make it a mobile optimized site.
doesn't.
So it's great
And
to
then
see
you
that
can go
you make that
into,
distinction.
yeah, and then you can go to turn around and say, okay, what are people looking for when you come to find on your site? Well, they're looking for a menu. Okay, let's go to your menu. Oh, hang on, you haven't got a button. Oh, if only you had a button, we could go straight to your menu. Oh, well, let's find your menu. And you screen down and you say, okay, well, I'm excited about your menu. How do I book a table? Right? Once you start demoing it from the fact that you've got onto their site, it's so easy to then go in and show the value that you can offer them. Right? And
Great.
what we do is we take it that step further where we make a demo site so we can say to them, listen, I don't want to sell anything right now. I want to prove to you how good I can be and how much of a difference I can make this site. Let me do that. I'll be back to you in 24 hours, 48 hours. And if you're happy with it, then we can take it further. Is that okay? Yes, it is.
And that's when you hit them
And
with the preview.
yeah, and then we whack them with a preview, and I'm sorry, I sound a bit aggressive salesperson, but we close an unbelievable amount using that way of our pitch.
Excellent, excellent. That's great to hear, and I'm glad you're able to share this.
And I can do that. Um, we're in the Philippines, but I'm selling, I think it was last 2 weeks ago, we sold 11 sites in one day in Malaysia. And that's not me sitting in front of a customer. That's me selling them over Skype. Exactly the same way.
Exactly. So because we live in a connected world, there's really
Yeah.
not a whole need for the door-to-door salesman or the face-to-face. Because I mean, if you really like to do face-to-face, I'm sure Skype supports it. But for the most part, you can sell remotely just because of the actual product you're selling, not because of the pitch. Or entirely because of the pitch.
But the one thing I do steer away from, Oscar, to be honest, I steal away from direct mail.
Okay. Is that a
No,
dead form of marketing or something, or maybe just not as
you know,
fruitful?
a lot of our affiliates, they want to do that. They want to send out 800 million mailers. And I say this is really difficult. With the way we sell it, it's very much an emotional sell. You've got to relate to people and interact with people. Now, you can still do that 20 times a day if you want to, right, and sell a lot of sites,
Hmm.
but they always think you can get out there, get on a mailer, and no, I don't think it works as well. Not the way we do it.
Great. So one of the issues I encounter with Duda Pros is maybe the mentality that they might have when they're approaching clients and or when they're first starting out. Maybe they just focus on the dollar amount that they can get out of a site as opposed to the value that they can provide. So how do you add value to your customers?
Okay, so are we looking for advice on the guys going out there to knock on doors now?
Well, any Duda Pro, because we do have a range of the people that are going knocking door to door, or people that, maybe they're a little more established and they actually have some type of lead acquisition. They
Okay.
all have, or they're all interested in how they can add value to the customer.
Okay. First value you can make is forget that you're selling websites.
Hmm. How's that?
Okay. Well, if you go out there and say, I'm here to sell you a new website, you are out in the paddock with 450 million other cows. Right? You've got to make yourself a bull, and that's you've got to stand out apart from that pack of cows. And as I said from the start, if I get on to Google now and I type mobile website, I'll immediately be bombarded with build this for free, do that for free, this is that. You want to get away from that because the name of the game is to make money. And you have to separate yourself from the crowd. That is why we are customer attraction experts. We are not web design
Oh,
company.
okay.
We are customer attraction experts. And this is where my advice to these guys, this is where you should put yourself and say, okay, I'm here to help you become more attractive to your customers, more attractive to more attractive to Google, and most importantly, more attractive to those that are visiting your website for the second, third, and fourth time. We want to keep people there. So we are customer attraction experts. We are not website developers. We don't do that. The
Perfect.
second thing, sorry?
No, I'm saying that's perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah. The other thing that we do is if you go in there, we are selling a program that is a monthly update. We're not just selling a one-off. Right? But we're continually adding value to this because we're updating their SEO, we're updating their what we call headlines. So we're going in to sell them a program. So we're really separating ourselves from a website. Yes, a website is part of it, but it's only a portion of the total
Hmm.
customer attraction program. And that's how we market, and that's my advice to everyone. Get away from being a website company. Get away from being a website developer. You don't want to do that. You want to sell something that's completely different. Now, customer attraction program is trademarked, I'm thinking, so you have to make it unique.
You'll have to come up with your own. So,
Have
guys,
to
get
come up with
creative and come up with your own positioning. Yeah.
So they're the things that are important to me, and that's how I market this. And everyone that I see that's really successful, and we've got lots and lots of affiliates, and these guys are selling a lot. One of ours, I think it was, he got one group that was 18 hotels in one day, and he didn't go in there basically knocking on the door saying, I'm here to sell your website. He was there saying, I've got something that's going to be more attractive to your customers, both new, used, new, all the people that you want there. This is what it is. And also, Google, it's very important that we're attracted to Google. So you're selling a program, don't sell a website. So that would
Perfect.
be it. Right?
Okay.
And in our case, when it comes to how do we add value, well, we're forever working on their SEO, we're working on their headlines because we do all that for them because we've got all the graphic designers to do that. But we also then upsell into email programs, customer service stuff, logo design, all sorts of things that we do. So we treat it as someone that we've got forever. The other thing that we do is when a trilogy site has a birthday, we rebuild the thing for free.
That's great. That's unique. But before you mentioned that, I had never heard of something like that.
Yeah. Because if you talk to anyone that's going to change that word website, they really just want to update it, but they'll go somewhere else to update it. So we wanted to cut that bit off and say, listen, and every year on its birthday, we give it a new facelift.
That's excellent. So all along the way, you're adding value no matter what.
Yes, it's we are there to attract customers. That's what we're there for. We're not there to just be a website that is egotistical sitting on the internet. That's not what we do. And
Perfect.
we actually give people away, Oscar.
Really?
We don't want to do them.
Wow. So you're able to choose your customers because of the fact that you have a specific program in mind and you have to be able to implement that strategy that you've already got in terms of your packages, correct?
Yeah, because you want to keep them there. You want them there next year. You want them to pay that monthly, every single month for the next 3 years of your life. This is all about recurring revenue,
Right. And
right?
because
And
you've
that's a
got,
wonderful thing that Duda can give you.
mhm. So those packages, you obviously came up with your own package that works for you and your team, and that's Trilogy Headlines. And you also mentioned that you offer SEO services, bundled into that or as an added package. But the fact is that your customers will, the more packages they purchase from you or sign up with, the more of a reason they have to stick around. Correct?
Okay, well, for instance, when they first become live on Trilogy, they've got the Trilogy site, which is a dynamic content, mind-blowing first impression on desktop, tablet, and mobile. The second thing we do is basic SEO work where we put them uh, on every local directory that is in their area. We'll automatically register them in local directories, and we do basic SEO work on meta tags and so forth, making the thing right. And we have the images the right size. So Google loves them from the start. It's attractive to them. And then every month, we make sure that we're keeping the keywords right, keeping the images right, and we do that all the way through. And we charge it as a total package, right? Not just going out there to grab a $1,000 website. We're charging them a monthly fee that we keep them there forever.
Like you said, it's in the recurring fees.
Yeah, the recurring's the thing. And I learned a lot from Angry Birds.
How's
That
that?
yeah, you charge something that's the right amount of money, and a million people will buy it. So we're not going in there to someone saying, well, we want $3,000 to build this website for you. No, we don't want that. We want $150 to $199 a month to have a customer attraction program for you.
Excellent. Okay. So that brings me to the next question. You really have an eye for design. Is there maybe a particular design philosophy you follow that our Doodle pros can either emulate or focus on as well?
Yeah, I got a favourite story about this, Oscar. I must admit, it started off. The Camel has, I believe, we're the best in the world at mobile design, because that's what everyone tells us. Because we customise everything. Our buttons are customised, our screens are customised, everything is customised. But the other thing that we do is when somebody, and every one of our designers is a graduate of graphic design or multimedia. Most of them, I think, are bachelors. So these are not just anybody's. These guys are pros at what they do. But when they come and work for the Camel, they have to basically learn a whole different concept, because the way we design is three-dimensional. We get them to understand that it's not a website that's shrunk down so it fits on everything. This is dynamic content design. So we design a desktop so it looks like a desktop, a tablet so it's designed for a tablet, and a mobile so it's designed for a mobile. Each one of them is different. So they have to, when they do a design, they've got to look at it in 3 dimensions. Not one big website that's going to go from 26 inches down to 10 and down to 6. There's a 26-inch website, there's a 10-inch website, and there's a 6-inch website. When you design Trilogy, that's how we believe it. The second thing is that on the desktop, there's tabs. On the tablet, there's buttons. And on the mobile phone, there is buttons. Why? Because when people are using a desktop, they're sitting in front of the desk and they'll search all over the place. But when they're using a tablet, they're in 2 places. They're either on the couch or on the toilet. So they want to be able to get there straight to the information they want, rather than fiddling and carrying on all over the place. And mobile, beautiful when it comes to either buttons or bars. Not a lot of other information on the thing. It's either you press a button or you swipe a bar, and everything is there. And all of them, you must have a design element of call to action. Thinking, if someone gets to the bottom of this menu, what do you want them to do? Book a table. If somebody's looked at the pictures of this hotel, what do you want them to do? Make a reservation. If somebody's looked at this massage, what do you want to do? Make a reservation. So everything in a trilogy design is all aimed at leading them to a path to acquire a customer.
With some kind of call to action, obviously.
Always call to action, but it must be, use your thinking to say, okay, that they're looking at a menu here. When they get to the bottom of that, what do you want them to do? What's the call to action? The call to action is make a reservation. If they're pressing, if you look at all our sites, everything where there's a view of something that would end up with a buying decision, there's a call to action at the end of it.
So you're presenting a call to action to either engage the customer or drive that conversion, right?
Correct. Well, that's what it's all about. These are selling machines now. They're no longer websites. You've got, not only if there's no second chance at a first impression, there's no second chance. They're hard to get, these customers. So if they're there, you might as well grab them and do something with them.
Right.
They're not there to be entertained with some really fantastic looking picture. This is to make you money, this thing. This is to get you a reservation. This is to get you a booking. This is to get customers in your door. That's how you've got to treat it.
That's a good way to look at it. So I think this question is going to be very useful to our Doodle pros who maybe they may be encountering difficulties, or they may be just starting out and maybe they don't have a team of designers at their disposal. What are some suggestions you would offer them if they're encountering difficulties?
Okay, I'll just give myself a quick plug if that's all right.
Sure.
Oscar, they can contact us, and what we can do is we can do it all for them, and all they've got to do is sell.
So they don't have to focus on any of the fulfillment. You offer design services. Obviously, this is between you and the Duda Pro. Just to be clear, Duda is not an intermediary here. It's just that Shane offers his fulfillment services through your website is thecamel.co, correct?
Camel.co. And I'll tell you why I did that, Oscar. When I first started out, and keep in mind, I'm just like every other guy out there, that I saw mobile as this is going to be great business. And I was selling the mobile sites, first of all, then mobile sites linked to either WordPress site or their WordPress site. And I would knock on doors and I'd call people up and I'd just try and flog these things off. And what happened was that I was spending so much time, building a site or doing this and putting that together, that it drove me crazy because I wanted to just sell. And that's how I built the Camel, where I thought, okay, I'll get some designers in there, I'll get some SEO people in there, I'll get these guys in there, and then all I have to do is sell the thing. I'm not a graphic designer, never have been, don't even profess to be, but I'm a good salesman. And there's a lot of Duda pros out there who are great salesmen, and that's what they really should be focusing on doing. So if you can get a little bit of help, that's great.
So basically, leverage your skill set and play to your strengths.
And use your network and get down to the old school things of selling, which is once you've got someone happy, get them to recommend somebody else. But the number one thing is what I reflected on before, and that is don't go out there calling it a website. Get with the program right away. Duda One is just amazing, the things it can do. And you can get it out there that you're selling a program. You can call it Duda One if you like, or you can call it Billy Blogs Motors. Right? We call ours Trilogy. And get away from selling a website. Go in there from the start. You're selling attraction programs. We have one of our affiliates calls them acquisition programs, right? And they're doing well calling it that. Go in there and don't sell websites. Sell programs. Perfect. Concentrate on the fact that there's no second chance on a first impression, not only to the customers they're trying to get, but no second chance on a first impression with Google, no second chance on a first impression on the way the thing looks, right? You're selling value. It's not just a dollar proposition of $1,000 website. Right? You're selling something, and that's the way that you'll do really well as a Duda Pro, because it is the best.
Now, I had a question. You mentioned to me when we spoke before that you have a unique, I want to say, viewpoint or perspective here that when you're selling to a customer, you're selling a value add proposition and not a dollar proposition. Can you elaborate on that?
Okay, if I went in there and I was going to sell them a website, and let's say they wanted a 10-page WordPress site, and I'd be doing a dollar proposition with 5 other guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they'd turn me in and say, how much are you going to charge me for a 10-page or a 15-page WordPress site that's mobile optimized to do this? That's a dollar proposition. What I do is I go in there and I say, you know what? I could do that, but that's not going to get you any value. Can I ask you, do you want to attract more customers? Yes. Do you want to be attractive to Google? Yes. Do you want to make sure that you're offering promotions and everything every month? Yeah. What we need is a program. And I understand that you're a small business, and I understand that your CapEx and your OpEx are really important things to you.
Mm.
I don't want to take $3,000 off you from the start. I want to add value, and I want to be like your electricity bill, and I'm going to get you to do that monthly. So when we turn it on, you're going to add great value to your business.
Excellent. So you would suggest instead of just focus on the selling or maybe just trying to sign someone on, that they become more of a consultative seller, and by that offering something of value.
Exactly. I mean, that was a great book, Consultative Selling Process. You know, that's the way you want to go in there and keep these people every single month that you're selling them something additional. You're offering them something more. You know, most of the Do to Pro guys, I know that there'll be other stuff out there that they could be able to feed this network of customers they're right? And I know with us that they are coming back every week asking, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? Can you do that? You know, I mean, that's the way it should be, because they're hard to get, Oscar. Customers are hard to get. So when you get them, you've got to keep them.
I'm sure our Diva Pros would agree.
Yeah, you've got to keep them happy, right? And keep feeding them every month something new. And I mean, we take it a step further where every month, like Duda does with all its Duda Pros, we're saying, okay, this month, what is your insight? Well, what we do is we take it further and we design headlines. We say, okay, this is a monthly special idea. Put yourself in this position. What would you be doing? So we're sending that out every month. I write a newsletter, and that newsletter goes out every month, which is almost like a how-to of certain things of business every month, because that's part of my background as well. So we've got them as customers. They're not a dollar proposition. They're a value-added every single month proposition. That's how we think.
Perfect. All right. Well, this has been more than awesome. I'm pretty sure our Duda Pros would agree that this has been some solid advice and that they can probably put into action right away. I noticed that your customers are probably not only excited for their own birthdays, but the birthdays of their websites as well. So that's something interesting that maybe people could take into consideration. So
it is good, and it's not that expensive to do.
Exactly. So next up, that was it for our questions here. I'm going to go over for the questions that I have for you, Shane, and I'd like to go over questions if people have them. So let's see here. Let's see. So David mentions that it's not about you, it's about them. So that goes into your how you add value. Let's see. Somebody asked, how do you gracefully make a potential client aware that their trilogy is outdated and needs a makeover? Most people don't get it. 10 out of 100 people actually get it. What about the other 90 who don't get it? I'm the owner of my company, and it's really what wears, and it's only me that wears all the hats. And this is by Karen. Hey, Karen.
Hi, Karen. Karen, I think there's sadly only one way to do it, and that's not be gentle. Right? You have to be quite tough. I'm a bit in your face about it. I won't lie. And I'm really excited when I see a really ugly website on a tablet or mobile phone. I am so excited to put that in their face. I'm sorry. That's the way I do it. And it works because they're seeing a really bad first impression. And I usually set up and just say, do you know that 82% of customers are looking for you on your mobile phone? And do you agree with that? Yes. let's have a look what they're seeing about your business. Bang, I show it to them. I don't believe there's any gentle way to do it.
Okay, so just add a bit of aggression there. By that we mean just make it very clear. And sometimes if you have to scare the customer with statistics, that may be the case. Like you mentioned that I think 60% of search traffic originates from mobile. I don't think that. I know that because I saw the statistic. And so when people are searching, 60% of those people are doing it from mobile. So if that's not a compelling enough statistic for your customers, Karen, I think maybe that customer is not the right fit if they don't really see the value based on the numbers itself. And especially now with the changes coming 21st, there is a lot of statistics that you can throw at the user, and not even statistics, but you could even maybe offer the mobile friendliness test, their result as you know something that you can get in their face with. So hopefully that helps.
Exactly. And that's once you get it, it just says you lose. That's all it basically says. If
Exactly.
your site is not mobile friendly, that's basically what it's saying to you. You're not going to do any business. That's how brutal that thing is.
So great. Hopefully that answers Karen's question. And thank you, Shane. Michael asks, we got a tough one here. How much do you sell the mobile websites for? Courtesy of Michael
We
Grubb.
sell our customer attraction program Trilogy. We sell between, because we have affiliates as well, and the average price is between $150 and $199 a month.
Perfect. Perfect. So hopefully that helps, Michael. That gives you an idea of where to maybe begin. But again, it's a very personal decision to set your price, correct, Shane? It's based on what services you offer and what you're capable of.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got another question here from Rainer. Rainer asks, how do you get past the gatekeeper to make your pitch? Do you find a phone call is the only effective way to get their attention?
Well, that's a good. You ever seen the movie Taken?
A man with a particular set of skills. That's you, right, Shane?
Have a particular set of skills. Right? Gatekeepers. Don't we all hate them? I tell you, they're just tough, tough people. And if there was, to be all honest, if there was a magic formula to that, I would be a multi-billionaire sales trainer. And it's one of the most difficult things. But I suppose right now, if it was me, I'd use the 21st of April as a way to get away from the gatekeeper. And I'd just turn around and say, hi, have you had the information from Google? On the 21st of April, there's something really important that could cost you business. Who would I discuss that with? That's probably the way I'd use it.
Excellent. I think I would
Get a
agree.
chance to.
Seems like the perfect way to get in there. Just drop that little bit of maybe the scare tactic there to say, what are you doing on the 21st besides
You realize
not
your
being
world
home?
is a bit.
Yeah.
That's the way some people are writing. Some of these emails that are coming out, it's serious Armageddon.
Great. So let's see here. Michael asks, how do they generate leads? I'm guessing he's referring to you.
Anywhere you go, Michael. We've got one guy in Melbourne in Australia. He will be sitting down having a pizza and he'll be checking out their website while he's having the pizza. If he goes into a bar, he will have a beer and automatically check their website. So, I mean, it's a lot of old school type selling. That's how we generate leads. Everywhere we go, we're looking at their website. It could be a shop that sells dresses. It'll be an automatic thing where we'll walk outside and we'll check out their website, and that's how we create leads. It's everywhere we go. It's like selling life insurance.
Everyone needs it.
Everyone is. And it's the same. There's 850 million websites out there, Michael, and that's 850 million leads. Everywhere you go, there's a chance for you to create business, and that's how you got to think in this business. And you're helping them acquire customers. You're not flogging them a website.
Perfect. So we've got, I think that's a great answer there. It's basically get your leads however you can get them, and if if you're never going to stop looking for those leads if the bread on the table depends on those leads. So it's good to see that your leads are everywhere in the world is pretty much your lead, your lead
And
acquisition.
everywhere you go.
So Mr. T here asks, do you prospect by phone or in person? I
Me
guess that.
personally,
Go ahead.
no. It's okay. So because we sell through an affiliate platform as well, then I've got those guys that basically we help them, but they're sending us deals all the time. Myself personally, I work on that everywhere I go. There's a chance that if I go and we've got where we live in Lipa City of Batangas, one of the best restaurants there is a place called Seafood in a Basket, and I just thought to myself, well, better look at this guy's website, and he's got no website. Now he's got a beautiful customer attraction program because he was just a customer where he looked and said, you've got no presence on the web. How can people find you? So everywhere I go, that's how I do it. But that's me as the sort of salesperson I am. That I create leads no matter where I go. It's almost like being a multi-level marketer or an insurance salesman.
Right.
No matter where you go, you can. But if I go back on the original, how do I do it? If I was a Duda Pro, how would I be finding new leads? I'd go through the local newspapers and I'd look at those little advertisements for plumbers, electricians, or as I call them, butchers, bakers, candlestick makers. And I would call all those people after I've checked they've got no website, bad website, and I'd call those people. Just the local newspaper. That's where I get my leads from.
Perfect. So I've got a comment here from someone, which is interesting. It's Mal says, it's not really a question, but a statement here. When is search feature coming? I'm losing a lot of business due to no search. Now, this is something I'd like to bring up with you, Shane. Have you lost any business or maybe missed out on any because of one single feature? Or is it because that you're offering an entire package and an actual value add as opposed to something that's just a particular feature that you don't have that problem?
Well, in most cases, we try and do a workaround, but it's in Mel's particular place, from what I can gather from his statement, he's got a particular niche market that needs that, so I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's like when you're selling a house and you've got a demo house, and people say, "Oh, can we change this? We can change." Sooner or later, you have to turn around and say, "Well, I'm sorry, we can't. This is the house we have." Right? And we'll try all the workarounds in the world, but you can't change everything. The hardest part about salespeople is they want to say yes to everything. Sooner or later, you have to say no to some things.
Right. Give and take.
And it is a give and take thing. You're not going to make everyone 100% happy. There is some feature or something else that you just can't do. But then you've got to turn around as a salesperson and say, okay, in all honesty, how much of a difference does that make to your business? In all honesty, would that cost you business? And then when they'll turn around and say, well, in actual fact, we don't really need it. We've got one particular customer that, he's not ours, he's an affiliate's customer, where he got upset because he had to cut and paste something to send an email. And I just turned around and said, well, can I ask you, sir, how many emails do you send a day? 5. All right. Can I ask you, that cut and paste of 5, how long does it take you? Well, it takes me a couple of minutes. Well, if you do it, does that give your customers along the way? And said, yes, it does. Well, is it really worth the time and effort? Yes, it is. I mean, you just got to treat it like a little objection and work your way through it, because you're not going to be able to provide everything. Right. There are some things you have to say no.
Exactly. Now, in your case, Mel, actually, there is a way, and I would contact support, but there is a way that you can add search through the third-party tool. So look into that by reaching out to support@dudamobile.com, or priority support at dudamobile.com, I should say. So thanks for that, Shane. Hopefully that answers Mel's question. Lindsay asks, what happens when someone says they have their own server and they want to host it on there? Or what do you tell them? What is it?
Have a nice day.
Excellent. That kind of brings us back to the last point where, unfortunately, that's not something that you offer.
And it's something you'd sort. Lindsay, you got to sort that out from the start. That
expectations.
Like away we go. And the beautiful thing, one of the things that we love about it, because imagine we've got so many sites. that we host with Duda, and then we've got our DNS hosting and all that as well. But the reason we love Duda so much is nothing goes wrong with them, right? That they don't get attacked, all these sort of things don't happen. And you can use that as leverage to move these people away from other hosting services.
Ah, okay. The safety and
That's what
security of the cloud kind of helps with the inability to host somewhere else.
because in all honesty, Oscar, it's one of my favorite things that I love the security of Duda. I love the fact that the thing never drops, it never dies, it doesn't get attacked by viruses, malware is not a problem. All these things is why I love it, and that I use that to convert people.
Perfect. I hope that answers Lindsay's question. It sounds like that's hopefully a good answer there. Let's see here. Okay, and Mr. T, he has a great question here. What are your top 3 niches or industries that you've found in your experience?
Restaurants, pubs.
Okay.
Restaurants, pubs.
So basically dining establishments and places that would probably be best served by maybe a changing menu or lots of imagery.
Butcher, baker, candlestick maker. Anyone that wants to, they're looking for somewhere to sleep, looking somewhere to eat, looking somewhere to stay for a while.
Basically anybody that has a sort of a quote unquote sandwich board, as you called it.
Yeah, the sandwich board is a key for us. I'm glad you picked it up, Oscar. The sandwich board is a key for us as the Camel. And if I was out there selling a customer attraction program, the sandwich board customer is the one you want. That is forever looking at ways to get new business in their door every day. By that sandwich board out the front, by wiping off something and putting something new here, they're the customers we want because they get it.
And I guess the modern day equivalent of a sandwich board would be Insight.
Yeah, or as we call it, headlines.
Ah, exactly.
Right, and you know, headlines is just so, or Insight, it's just so good, and it makes me laugh when people say, "Oh, I don't know if I'll use that much," and next thing they get they're drinking the Kool-Aid, and they want one every week.
Exactly.
They see the statistics, which is another way to sell off Duda, which is awesome. When they see the statistic and they go, "What? I had 200 people come to my website, but 150 of them hit that headline or that insight." Yes, sir. Wow. Right? That's the amazing thing because they do get hit a lot.
I think you mentioned the story of someone with the was it cupcakes or some kind of pastry chef or something
Yeah.
like that?
It's a little bitty place, and again, it's in our hometown. But I particularly love the guy's cupcakes, so I sold him a website as well. And this guy, they've never done any promotion. They've never had a website. They didn't have a Facebook page. They never had anything. And by the time we got with them, we got them into the whole customer attraction bit, which was website, Facebook, headlines. And the first headline we put on their site, I think the site got hit about 300 times, but the headline was hit 282, and they sold out all their cupcakes for the next week because they basically cooked all of this group, right?
That's results.
Oh, it's crazy. And another one, which is a guy was an English teacher, he got 171 hits on his site, but 162 were to his monthly special or insight, and 18 were click to call from that, and he got, I think it was 12 people signed up.
Wow.
That was just on that headline, that one headline.
That one insight that ran. Okay.
It's just amazing because people get on there going, what's new, what's special, what's exciting, and that's what you get with Insight. You don't have that with anybody else. You know, that's not available on your old WordPress site.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's see here. That's a great answer, and I'm pretty sure we answered their question. Let's see. We have another question. Oh, we've actually got a convert here that David just mentions that, yes, that is the philosophy. Help them get leads and business and not necessarily sell a website. So I'm glad that that stuck with you, David.
Thanks, David.
Oh, Ray has more of a specific question. Does the client, quote unquote, own the site, or are they just renting it from you, in your opinion, Shane?
Good question. You get asked this every single day, and it's I I'll give you my standard answer, Oscar,
Sure.
and is I say to people, you know what? With all the relationships I've got that are part of the Trilogy Customer Attraction Program, I've never had a divorce yet. But if that day does come, I'll give you the children, which are all your files, and you can go live somewhere else.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, it's really more of a personal decision, Ray, but looks like Shane's got it all figured out here to make sure that he has an amicable party. Lindsay asks, what was the consultant sales book you mentioned? You mentioned the book there, Shane. You mind
Yeah,
sharing that?
I was trying to remember the guy that. What I'll do when I get off, I'll remember and I'll do a Google search and get the exact book because it was a fantastic book, and I'll send that to Oscar,
Perfect.
and you
Anyone
can get
anyone that has any questions can email me about it.
because it's a
Perfect.
really really good book, and it's I mean it was 20 years old or something, but it was just a great consultative selling process. I really enjoyed it.
Great. And actually, if you like, they can head over to your site and then email you and reach out to you. Correct.
Just, yeah, just Jane at thecamel.co.
So that's Shane at thecamel.co. In fact, let me actually. I think you guys are. And your email is Shane at thecamel.co. So hopefully people see that. I'm typing it there. That is Shane's email in case you'd like to reach out to him for more questions. Again, his fulfillment services are available there, but that is between you and Shane, and Duda will have nothing to do with that. So you guys are welcome to
No,
reach out to him for any more information. All right. We've
I might
just got a.
say
I'm
two
sorry, go
words
ahead,
though.
Shane.
No, that's all right, Oscar. I'm sorry. Fire
Sure.
away.
No problem. Let's see here. We've got another question here from James. What tools do you use to demonstrate how their website looks on multiple devices? I think I know the answer, but go ahead and give it a shot, Shane.
If I'm sit, well, at the moment you've got this Armageddon thing from Google. That's a good thing to use. But what I do is I bring it up on my cell phone, on my tablet when I'm sitting in front of them, or on the phone, and get them to do it is even better. If you get them to say, listen,
Mm.
let's have a look at your website on your phone, right? That's how I get them to see it.
Yeah, yeah, right. Because there's no really when they load it up on their own phone, they pretty much take the full brunt of the of the hit
There's
when
no
they see it's not mobile.
they've got to find some corner that they want to hide in.
Excellent. So there's no better sale than embarrassment or humiliation. Let's see here. Let's see. What do you do for their Facebook page? I know you mentioned you offer different packages as part of your customer attraction program. Does that include social profiles or social media?
Okay, what we'll do with Facebook is because Facebook, the game has changed dramatically. Facebook's a real, back in the day, there's a lot of things you could do with Facebook.
Mhm.
But now it's so hard unless you pay money. And sorry, Mr. Zuckerberg, you've done well, right? So the average small business, all they can really do on Facebook is they can make it look sexy by having it really attractive. We do that
Mhm.
where we make the fan page look nice and we put on their actual Trilogy site. It's linked to their Facebook page. Um, we don't do any of that get likes business because that's all really waffle now. Unless you pay, you're not going to get likes because it's a very difficult business now, Facebook. We have some sites that we manage, as in we'll put their daily posts and quotes and all that sort of stuff. We do that as well. But mainly we make the thing look sexy. That's the most important thing we do.
Great. Now, I think we're going to take two more questions, and that'll be it for our webinar. James also asked another great question. How do you find out about their design preferences and get that onto the website?
Okay, we've got James as part of what we do, we've got a pretty good brief sheet that we build up with them. Right? That if you go on our website, thecamel.co, you can actually click on the button and you'll see all the questions that we ask them. And that's how we put the design brief together. Because the design, that's the other thing on cutting down time. You've really got to, we've got some of our affiliates are brilliant at getting briefs, and we make their sites very, very fast. But if we're not mind readers.
Right.
We need that information from people. So we've got a good design brief that we put together. They answer all those questions. Especially, there may be some sites that they actually like. We ask them for those sites as well, so we can start to understand their feelings.
So some examples or something, because obviously you need their input to be able to come up with something.
And then on our site, Oscar, we've got lots and lots of sites that we've built that we put up there and show people as well. So you can usually get a good idea from that.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Last question here is going to be from Lindsay, and it looks like she's asked this a couple of times. And this is a great one to end this on, I think. Is what do you tell people when they ask about what their site is built on? And this, Shane, is very unique to you because you actually don't care for white label, right? You actually have Powered by Duda on your own website, thecamel.co, and you seem to have no issues there.
Yeah, and you know why? Everyone, if you talk to them and say, why do you not put Powered by Duda? They're all turning around and say, oh, but Duda do things for free, right? And they don't want to be associated with that. Or, oh, I don't want people to know who I'm using. Me, myself, I don't care, right? Who knows what I'm using? I'm excited that they know I'm using Duda because it's a bulletproof platform. And they're really big. So I don't have to sit back there and make people think, oh, well, how big is the Camel? Well, the platform I use is Duda, and they're a $20, $30 million company. Do you trust them? Yes. Right? They do business with Google, so it's good. Right? I'm proud to put the Duda. Plus, Duda are continually upgrading. Duda are doing all these things. That's an exciting thing. Me, personally, I'm not afraid to share what I do, judging by this webinar. Because there's 850 million websites out there, and if I get 1% of them, I've earned a lot of money.
That's a perfect way to look at it. I think that's a good viewpoint. Lindsay, I hope that. Go ahead.
Especially be more excited about putting the Duda name there than not putting it there. In all honesty.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, this has been more than excellent, in my opinion. I think we've provided our Duda pros and our viewership with some really good insights and pretty much every single one of your secrets, Shane. If nobody, if they can't take anything from this and hopefully increase their sales or the revenue, I think, we may need to. You may need to talk to me. So email me, Oscar@dudamobile.com, if you do have any questions after the webinar, and also feel free to email Shane. Shane, I'm sure you'd be happy to talk to them about whatever opportunities you have going on.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks again, Shane. It's been awesome, and hopefully we'll have another webinar in the future. And Michael also says, thanks, Shane and Oscar. So thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks, Michael.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye-bye.